Hey, how's everyone doing? This is Oz with Oz Mechanics, and on today's video I got this 2010 GMC Sierra right behind me. So the issue with this GMC Sierra is when the customer would go to the gas station and try to fill up the vehicle, it would not allow him. It'll just keep on pushing back. So in today's video, what we're going to try to do, we're going to try to see if we can try to figure out this issue using our scan tool. So how about we get to this video and try to get this vehicle back on the road. All right, so right here we have the EVAP system laid out in my whiteboard of knowledge, and we're asking ourselves first, what is the EVAP system? This is the evaporative emission control system, but they just shortened it out to EVAP. So what does the EVAP system have? This is a simple one right here. This is a simplified EVAP system that I drew out right here. And let's talk about each component that we have right here. So we have our engine, and this is what's going to be producing our vacuum, so we can suck up our vapors coming from the gas tank that go into our charcoal canister. Now we move down the line, we have our purge valve. So our purge valve is basically a normally closed valve, and all this does is, well, there's two purposes for this one right here. It pulls our vapors coming from the charcoal canister that we got from our gas tank, and it brings them in to our engine and it burns it off. And another thing as well is when we do our test, our actual EVAP test to verify that there's no leaks, this is going to open up, allow our intake vacuum to go into our EVAP system, and then after that closes off. So this is going to be a door. Now we move down to our charcoal canister. This charcoal canister has little charcoal pellets, really small charcoal pellets, and what they do, they absorb the vapors coming from our gas tank and stores it in here. And like I explained, they store it's stored in here until our purge valve opens up, and then it brings them into the engine and burns it off. After that, we have our vent valve. That vent valve right here, the opposite of our purge valve, this is normally closed, this is normally open. So what this does, it brings in fresh air, and then that allows it to push out our vapors into our engine. And as well, when we do our test to verify that there's no leaks, this actually closes off so we can do our test. After that, we're going to be going down, and we see our FTPS, that's the fuel tank pressure sensor, and this right here is just going to be reading the differences in pressure. So we have vacuum or pressure, is going to be reading the differences on that. And then as well, we have our gas tank plus our gas cap right here. So this is what's going to be holding our fuel, and our gas cap is going to be another closed door right here. This is our whole EVAP system right here on the vehicle that we're working on. And now the question is, what's going on? So like I did explain on this one, customer goes to the gas station, fills up the gas tank, and even if it's on empty, it just keeps on stopping it. What's going on there? So I'm using my theory right here. So let's just say right now she has an empty tank. Right now she has an empty tank. She sticks the nozzle in here, and she starts filling up. So we're filling up, and every 2 seconds, regardless even if it's empty, it keeps on popping it off. Remember how I did explain that the vent valve right here is normally open, and then our purge valve is normally closed. So what's supposed to happen whenever we fill this up, this is kind of full of vapors, so we start pushing the vapors into the canister, and it's supposed to come out, make it free. But there's a good chance that either the vent valve is stuck closed, or our charcoal canister is actually saturated with fuel and is not allowing our actual vapors to move freely out our vent valve. So what could cause the vent valve to be stuck closed? Over time, it can mess up, or we can have dirt, contaminants go inside and mess around with the solenoid. What could cause our charcoal canister to be damaged? Now let's talk about that. So let's just say another scenario. Customer goes to the gas station, tries to fill up, and out of nowhere, let's just say they put $30 of gas, and we're pretty much full right here, and it stops at, let's just say it stops at $26. But they're like, well, I already put $30, let me just get more bang for my buck, and let's keep on going. Now what's going to keep on happening is that more fuel is going to start filling up, and it's going to start overflowing, and it's going to start going into our charcoal canister. This charcoal canister is designed just to take vapors, not liquid. So when this charcoal canister gets saturated with fuel, that's when, now let's fast forward now, that's when you have an empty tank and you're trying to fill this up. When you have an empty tank and you're trying to fill this up, the vapors they're trying to get out to the vent valve, have a hard time pushing out. And this nozzle right here actually has a pressure sensor, so whenever the vapors try to go out, the pressure exceeds and then it stops the actual nozzle. So those are my two theories right here. How about we go to the vehicle and we're going to test out the vent valve, and then after that we'll see if we can test out the charcoal canister. Alright, awesome. So we have our scan tool right here, and with this scan tool we can do some bidirectional tests. And first thing that we want to do is I just want to hear the vent valve turn on and off. So we're just checking out the function of the vent valve. I just want to hear that audible. We want to verify that it's actually working. So let's go to our functions test. Let's try to find our vent valve. Let's see right here. We have our vent valve right there. Now let's go down to the car so we can actually hear it. Alright, sorry for the glare, but here it goes. So we can actually hear the solenoid opening and closing. Now what we're going to do, we're actually going to do a test to verify that it's actually working right. And let's go inside the vehicle. We're going to do a purge seal test. Awesome. Now that we're inside the vehicle, we can go ahead and turn on the vehicle so we can do our purge seal test. And we're turning on our vehicle because we got to introduce vacuum to our vehicle. Alright, so let's go look for our purge seal test right here. And there we go. Here's our purge seal test. Alright, let's click on that. And as you can see right here, it says to do this test, we have to at least have 15 to 85% fuel. So let's see what we have. We have around close to 15, so we should be good enough to do this test. Alright, now that we're here, as you can see, our vent valve is actually venting right here. So remember, we're not energizing it right now, but when we do our test, we're going to go ahead and purge our system. And let's look at this right here. This is our fuel tank pressure sensor. At atmospheric pressure, it's going to be 1.5 volts. Once we introduce the vacuum from our purge, our voltage is going to start going up. So as you can see right there, once we press that, our voltage should be going up. So here we go. We're about to start pressing this and we're going to get our test going. So remember, it's going to go up once we introduce vacuum. So here it goes. Now to get this going, we're going to start incrementing by 10. And this is basically the percentage of the actual purge solenoid. So we're going to start going up. And as you can see, voltage is going up. We want to stop around 3.5. After we do that, we're going to seal this system. So as you can see right now, it's not venting. So we're about to stop right now. Here it goes. We're sealing it up. And as you can see, it's hit a plateau. We're going to see a small drop. That's just decay. So we're at 3.6 volts. And that's pretty good. So you don't want to see no big drop. If you see a big drop, that's when we have a leak or something going on. And it's going slowly down. And this is showing 1, that we have a good purge valve, 2, that we have a good vent valve, and 3, that we don't have any leaks. And that's what we want to see. So there you go, 3.2 volts is slowly going down, and that's just the decaying that we have there. So I'm pretty happy right here. Real slow drop. All right, let's go back. And now what we can do, we can actually do a test. And this is just a purge solenoid test. All we're going to do, here goes as a purge solenoid. We're only going to energize the purge solenoid. And with this test right here, we're just verifying that we don't have a clog in our vent solenoid. So as you can see, our vent solenoid is venting. We're at 1.5 volts. We're good. All right, so we're going to do this test right here. And we don't want to see, as you can see, it's venting. We don't want to see a big jump. Because if it's showing right here that it's venting, we shouldn't see a big jump. And as you can see right here, it's actually going kind of high. That's not good. It should be kind of low, but you can see it's going high. It's getting close to the 3 mark. That is not good. That's going high. If we have something that's not venting, if we have something that's venting right there, it shouldn't be going up. Let's drop it down. Let's see what happens. And it's dropping really slow. It should be dropping suddenly. It should be a big drop, but look at that. Dropping really slow. We should see a big drop as soon as we turn it off, and we shouldn't see a big rise at all. And you can see it's venting right there, and we're at 2.2 volts. It should be atmospheric right now at 1.5, but we're at 2.2. There's something going on right here, and this is what we need to figure out. Is it going to be the clogged charcoal canister or vent valve that's sticking? This is going to be kind of tricky right here. As you can see, it's still sticking at 2.2 and is venting. Alright. What we can do, let's go outside. Alright, so we're outside the vehicle right now, and what I want to do, we're just going to take off this gas cap and see what happens to our voltage. Let's see if it drops. Oh, there you go. Look at that. It's close to atmospheric voltage. And let's see, once we put it back on, see what happens. And it's going back up. Alright. With all we have right here, we've tested out the vent valve, we've tested out the purge and all that good stuff. I'm really pushing right now on taking off the charcoal canister. And you know what? Let's weigh this sucker. Let's see if it actually has some fluid in there. Alright, so these are our charcoal canisters right here. This is our brand new one, and this is the one that was in the vehicle. And what I want to do, I just kind of want to weigh this. I don't know how the scale's going to work out, knowing that this is, you have to tap it first and then get on there. Let's see. There you go. So let's try our new one. Let's see what we get. Hopefully it shows us weight. 4 pounds. Now it kind of went cuckoo. Now let's try our old one and see what we get there. 4.6. There you go. So as we can see, this one has a little bit more weight to it, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put the brand new one on there, and then we're gonna do our test. So let's go back to the vehicle and let's check this out. All right, so I replaced my charcoal canister, and now we're gonna do our test. So remember, the last test we did was our EVAP purge seal. That is just verifying that our purge valve is working, that our vent valve is working, and that we don't have any leaks. Right now what we're going to do, we're just going to go to our EVAP purge solenoid test right here, and we're just going to induce vacuum into our actual fuel tank. And what we want to see, remember, at atmospheric pressure, we're going to have 1.5 volts. So we just want to see a really small rise in the voltage, small, tiny. Because remember, our vent valve, theoretically now with our new canister, charcoal canister, and I did change out my vent valve as well, so I changed out both of them. The vent valve is really cheap. So with our new charcoal canister and the vent valve, because it's open to atmosphere, we should just have a steady rise, and then when I disable my purge solenoid, it should go right back down to 1.5. So let's verify that that's working right here. All right, we gotta put our key on position, and let's go ahead, turn this on, and we're gonna do this test. So here's our tank right here. Now let's turn this sucker on. So right now we are atmosphere, so 1.5. All right, and as you can see, our vent solenoid is venting right now, so it's open. Now let's go ahead and do this test. Remember, the other test beforehand, it went really high, really high. And then after that, when we turned off our solenoid, it slowly started going down. And then after that, kind of plateaued at 2.1. But look at this. Right now, we're not even going anywhere. It's basically at 1.8. And that's showing us that our venting is actually working. So now let's drop this and let's see what happens. Bam, look at that sudden drop right there. Alright, so if you do like this video, please put a big thumbs up and don't forget to hit that little notification bell to get our brand new videos coming out from Owls Mechanics.